There we go.
Okay, I think we are live. Hello, welcome, ladies and gents, to another podcast. And hopefully, you are already in the SMMA Mastermind group. This is the first time that we're using StreamYard, and this is the first time that we are going live in the group. So this should be quite an interesting experience to give you an opportunity to also kind of engage with our guests, ask questions, and have a bit more of an interactive session. Now, if you are watching this as a replay outside of our Facebook group, make sure to find the link above or below this video or go to smmamastermind.com, especially if you are looking to start or scale a digital marketing agency, a social media marketing agency to six figures and beyond. Okay, enough of that. I have a very special guest who I interviewed earlier on in the year about her journey to quitting her job, starting her digital marketing agency, and signing her first 15 clients in month one. When we did that podcast, she was on 23 clients, but she has recently crossed the £100,000. So that's about 135, $140,000 USD mark, which is a phenomenal achievement. And I wanted to bring her on to talk about her journey, her challenges, and what it took to get to this level and what her plans are for the next 12 months. Hazel Woodward, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Again.
Back again. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope, I can kind of keep on inviting you back as you keep on hitting other milestones. Now, for the people who are watching this and they might not know who you are, and before I ask you to introduce yourself, I'm going to now start putting this on iTunes. So we're going to expand our reach. So if people can't watch the video, hopefully they can listen to us on their commute or wherever. So Hazel, for those people who don't know who you are, how about a little bit of an introduction?
Oh, I wish I'd have prepared something. Okay, so I'm Hazel. I founded my business, HW Digital, on the 5th of November, 2020. So we are exactly a year and 3 days old. And I founded my business because I wanted to get out of the corporate rat race and have more flexible working hours so I could be home with the children, because obviously at that time we were in lockdown here in the UK. And that's kind of where we started, and we celebrated our 1 year birthday on Friday. And we've just seen exponential growth. It's just been absolutely phenomenal, like mind-blowing.
It is mind-blowing, So obviously when we caught up last time, so for those of you who have not seen the previous podcast episode, it is on our YouTube channel. It is in the Facebook group SMMA Mastermind, so you can find it there. But essentially, Hazel was working in a job, quit her job, and then she had built up a network of contacts over the 3 or 4 years that she was at her job, started calling people up and signed her first 15 clients up in month one. So I suppose, the first question, because I know what you do to a certain degree, but, to kind of make it easy for people to understand, especially those who are starting up and they have the same questions coming up over and over again. Who does your agency serve?
So we serve dentists and dental practices. So predominantly it's dental practices who know they need to have a presence on social media, but there's nobody in-house who A, wants to do it, or B, has the time to do it. So we kind of just swoop in and take the whole of the organic social media marketing away from them. Obviously they have an input and they can send content and things like that, but we just kind of swoop in and take that whole burden out of the practice. So, they're happy, we're happy because we can work autonomously, and it's just a really nice symbiotic relationship. I have to kind of put a caveat on that. We don't do any paid advertisements. So a lot of the people who message me and ask me, how do you start? I need to get my first client.
We're going to go on to that. This is what makes
we don't do paid ads. So we just do completely organic. And it's great, and I love it. And it's a niche that, it's just, I just like looking at teeth, to be quite honest.
No, that's absolutely amazing, And obviously my second question was going to be, and you've already answered that wonderfully, was how do you serve them? Because when you speak to a lot of people, that are trying to build an agency, they just want to build an agency, but they have no fundamentals of a business plan, in terms of how they're going to get started, who they're going to target, who is it that they're actually looking to serve, and how will they serve them. So it's brilliant that, you've kind of honed in on this one niche where you had some sort of relationships and a
Yeah.
network, and then you honed in on this one service, which is running the organic social media marketing. And you've kind of, dispelled the myth here, because a lot of people think to start an agency and to really make a lot of money, you need to be running ads, you need to be kind of doing sales and e-com and all of that, to be able to kind of sign on high ticket clients and build a six-figure agency, which makes it great to, and quite refreshing to actually hear that, you're just kind of stuck to this one service and this is how you've been expanding. Now, initially you started with your own network, and some people might be thinking, okay, I don't have a network, so it's very difficult for me to start. But obviously for you to grow exponentially at some point, you had run out of your own pond and you had to look beyond your own pond. So, how many clients are you on right now? You were on 23 the last time we spoke, maybe around January or something like that.
So put it this way, I've had to negotiate a preferential rate with my scheduler because we were at the top of their package, top package, which is a lot of accounts. So, and I have my own key account manager, who we speak to on a regular basis, and so it is a lot. We don't also just do Facebook and Instagram anymore. We now added in LinkedIn as well. So, and we do Google My Business as well. So we have kind of expanded, but also kept it completely organic. And we do, like, customers will say, "Oh, can you just send an email to my practices list?" And we'll go, "Okay, we'll send you an email." It's that email. And we kind of do like little, what's the word that I'm trying to think of? We over deliver,
absolutely.
I think is the key. So we want to give everyone the best possible experience that are with us, and something that it's obviously working, because in the space of 12 months we've lost one client.
Wow.
And that's client amazing. And that client took their social media in-house, and when I checked it last week, hasn't posted since they left us. So
that's interesting. And I remember when we last caught up, you were kind of doing your contracts were month by month. You did not tie people down for 6 months or 12 months. Has that changed in your business at all?
So the only time so on the whole, no, it hasn't changed. So we still do month to month. The only time where it's longer than month to month, if it's a big kind of project to set it up. So if they want a LinkedIn profile overhaul, if they want, a LinkedIn connection strategy, if they want email marketing, if they want setting up a brand new Facebook page and Instagram account. Because if you think about the time that it takes to set all that up, we don't charge setup fees. So it's just the normal posting fees, our agency fee. So it's got to be in our best interest to say to the client, well, you need to give us a bit of time, A, to get everything set up, and B, to show you some results. We tie them into 3 months. Yeah. But then after that, it's a 1 month rolling contract.
That's absolutely fair. That's absolutely fair. I think any business venture that you take on, you need to give it 90 days to really kind of see the momentum grow and to reap the benefits. Now, previously you were also kind of working on the content calendar, and you had obviously a couple of people helping you. Do you still do the day-to-day kind of social media asset creation and scheduling, or what's your core focus right now?
Me, myself? Yes. So I have, I think it's 10 client accounts that I personally handle. And I am very slowly handing them over to my team. We're a very, very new team. So I was using freelancers and I was outsourcing, because obviously we grew so quickly, I just couldn't manage it all myself. But then I took on a part-time member of staff for 25 hours a week. So she came on board in September. Very quickly, her diary was at capacity, as was mine. So I took on a full-time member of staff. So she started at the end of October. And And then last week I took on my third member of staff. So she's on 20 hours a week. And they are very quickly, their diaries are very quickly racking up. So I asked one of the girls today, I was like, have you got space for another account? And she was like, okay.
No, that's great. You'll need to be, well, you'll soon be hiring again. And I know you've been on the hunt, and I think you successfully secured an office space
Yes.
as well quite recently. So, I mean, obviously there's a lot of remote working going on because of the pandemic and whatnot. Do you plan to use the office space to bring people in on a hybrid basis and a full-time basis, or is it a space to kind of meet with clients? Because it's interesting that a lot of people are moving away from office working, and you've just took out a lease or something.
So it's not as grand as what everyone assumes that it is. It's a sublet of someone who's basically had a spare room in her office that she,
Right.
she didn't need anymore. We've got 4 desks in there. My first employee, I employed her to work remotely, so she's under no obligation to come to the office at all. But the other 2 are new to social media. And I just said to them, look, it's an entry-level role. You need to be based in the office to access the training. However, in the future, there may be a possibility of some remote working. And I kind of left it as loose as that, so that
Right.
I don't want them to think that they've got to be in the office 5 days a week, but they need to be there at least 4 days a week, just to be able to, so we can communicate and collaborate.
No, absolutely. I think, there's a lot of kind of people who have spent time working from home. They don't want to go back to the office, but kind of as a new business, you need to kind of get people together. You need the creative juices flowing, and it does flow so much better in a room full of people and not kind of, in these little boxes. So no, much credit to you for actually kind of, trying to get the economy back going up.
But, and I say this to them, I try and make it like a place where I would enjoy going to work. And I work from there myself. Like, obviously I'm in my home office at the moment, but so like, and it sounds like a given, but they have free tea and coffee, they have free bottles of water, they have the radio on. It's not corporate. Yeah. There's no business dress code. I'm in my gym stuff 9 times out of 10. Amy, my employee, came in like business wear, and I was like, what are you doing? Go home, put something comfortable on. Like, honestly, I'm not corporate at all. And they're not client facing, so there's no need for them to be dressed in business wear. And I'd rather them be comfortable. And for our 1-year birthday, we all went and had a spa. And that's what I paid for them all to go to the spa, because when the company does well, it's important that they're recognized and rewarded as well, because they're the ones that are doing the daily work. They're the ones that are doing the daily grind. I just bring the clients in.
And you've kind of nicely segued into what I was going to ask about next. This podcast, like your Olympia, is all about making money, right? Yeah. I mean, we do what we do because we enjoy it, but at the end of the day, we want to make money. We want to be our own bosses. We want to kind of live life on our own terms. And one of the things that a lot of startups struggle with is getting on clients. And even I find those who are at 10 to 20K a month, who have grown to that level, again, through their networks and not really having that prospecting, that business development strategy in places, they kind of get stuck. Like, how do we actually sign on clients that we don't know within our 6 degrees of separation?
Yeah.
So what has actually, helped you grow your business beyond exponentially beyond your network? Or is it your network that has actually propelled this growth? What's the secret sauce here?
I think it's that key word that we said before about over delivering. So I work with quite a few really well connected clinicians, and I know when they've been on a course, because the following Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, my messages just go through the roof, because they say to me, oh my God, they'll have a conversation between themselves like, oh my God, you're everywhere. Who does your social media? And they'll go, oh, I know Hazel. She's brilliant. She does it. She's amazing. Here's her number. And that is literally how it works. I was very reluctant to actually get my own website. I only got my own website at month 6. And I only set up my socials at month 5, because I just didn't need that kind of that lead generation machine. And it's only now, like today, I've set up a CRM. So, and because, because everything's just on Google Sheets, or it's in my head, or it's on emails, and it's like, it's just me. But then I have to try and think a bit more strategically now, because the business is growing and it's phenomenal and it's brilliant. But what happens if I want to go on holiday? The business has got to run without me being there and without me fielding questions between clients and the employees and the staff. So it's like, okay, well, now I've got to think, I'm not a social media manager anymore. I'm now a business owner, and this is kind of a step into the game kind of thing now. So yeah, it's all about CRM and like campaign planning. And I probably think the next hire that I'm going to make will be an internal marketing manager. So someone to market the business and to put a business strategy together, and a marketing strategy, and go away and execute it and kind of be the lead generation machine, because I ain't stopping. I'm not stopping at all. I like totally got the bug.
That's brilliant. And you know, I love it how you've actually kind of done the setup where you've sorted out your fulfillment first, and now you're thinking about, actually, I need to do business development, and I need to kind of hire a marketing manager or a business development manager or something like that. So I'm guessing your kind of growth has really come from over delivering, and those people, those dentists, because at the end of the day, they are a networked profession. They are referring more people to you, and you're just getting a lot of inbound calls from people who just want to work with you. And that's absolutely amazing. It reminds me of someone I met a couple of years ago who's actually also in the UK. And but he works with carpet cleaners in the US. And it's a fascinating story. And it's, again, about exponential growth, where he was charging one carpet cleaner $2,000. And this was his first client. And they got some great results. Now, this cleaner was a part of a franchise. So the following month, he went to their annual convention in Las Vegas or something like that. And he started talking about all of the digital marketing results he was getting from a guy based in London. And just off the back of that, he went from, I believe, 2K to 40K.
Wow.
In the space of a month, because of over delivering and people talking about, well, one person talking to their network of other franchisees of what's possible. But this also exists, you know, in other kind of industries where people come together, whether you're looking at lawyers, right? They studied together, they do their conventions together. You talk about accountants, same with dentists. You know, to become a dentist, you need to go through medical school for so many years. You know, other people who kind of go off and set up their own practice. Now, one of the key things, obviously, that I've seen as I suppose, a key difference between the US and the UK is, obviously, we have this system in the UK that provides a lot of services for free or for a very low cost, whereas in the US, those working with dentists, they're like pushing out $5,000 treatments, etc. You know, do you have any pressure from your UK-based clients who probably are doing part private, part NHS, as we call it here? Do you have any pressure for you to sell any cosmetic work, or is it still very much about maintaining their presence?
Okay, so I'm going to challenge you on that, because yes, the US market it's all private healthcare. The UK market, we do have the NHS, but we all know how difficult it is to get an NHS appointment with any kind of dentist. Like, my daughter has been waiting 2.5 years for an orthodontics appointment.
Wow.
And it's getting to a point now where I'm just going to pay for her to have it done through one of my clients. So private dentistry here in the UK is growing at a very rapid rate. And all of my clients are private dental practices, all of them. I've got one that has a network of 14 dental practices. Of the 14, there's only one that's only private, so the rest are like NHS and mixed. But they all want to, it's more profitable for them to have patients that come through privately. So, and not everyone will be able to access the NHS appointments in a timely manner. So if you need a wisdom taken out and you're in pain, you can pay £400 to have it extracted there and then, or you can wait 16 weeks.
Yeah,
What
no,
are you going to do?
absolutely. I mean, I had a dental appointment a couple of months ago, and my dentist is actually quite local. He's up the road from me, and I called them up, and I was inquiring about an appointment to get a filling, and he quoted me a price. And I thought, hold on, right? Is this not a subsidized NHS rate? And they're like, oh no, we've took you off the register because you've not come in 12 months.
Yeah. But
So
then,
I literally paid double.
yeah, but you wouldn't have even been able to get into for 12 months because of COVID.
Yeah,
Because
no,
they've
you're
been
right.
shut for a period of time. But I mean, I think that's, and I want to kind of come back to your point about networking and people coming together.
Yeah.
So I do a regular networking call. It's on a Tuesday at 11 o'clock, and it's with other industry professionals from all over, not all just marketing. So it's kind of like the BNI. So you've got a certain person, it's not the BNI, but there's people from different industries, but we all work within the dental field. And I walk away from that every week with at least 2 leads.
That's
And
awesome.
I close 2 leads a week.
That's absolutely awesome. Thank you for sharing that tip. So, did you bring these people around that inner circle in a table, or was this kind of like an existing organization like the BNI, but for people in the dental field?
So it's called the Dental Business Alliance,
Right.
and my friend Mike set it up, and he invited me to become vice chair. So we run it between us. We're a committee of 8, but we've got 10 partners who regularly attend the networking meetings, and we're all there for the same goal. We're all there to pass leads on to each other within the dental industry. And we went and exhibited. 4 of us at the London Dentistry Show, where we had 5,000 people. I made my money back, so my share for the stand within an hour.
Wow.
Because I sold a power hour within an hour, and it's like, okay, boom. I think I was in profit. I think I doubled my fee within like the end of the first day.
No, that's absolutely awesome. And this is what you're sharing here is absolutely brilliant because, again, it is so refreshing because when I speak to a lot of people, they think like they need to do cold emailing and they need to do cold outreach or they need to run ads. But you are talking about kind of, these old school tactics, which obviously are very important and they still work.
I've not sent a cold email. I've not run an ad, and I've not picked up the phone apart from to anybody who I already knew.
That's awesome. That again, a breath of fresh air. Now, you mentioned your power hour, and I believe that's like a 1-hour consultation that you sell. So, in terms of kind of when you're pitching your new prospects, do you lead with that power hour, or do you kind of try to move on to that not the monthly retainer, but your social media, your core social media marketing package?
No, I just go straight in for the social media, and I'm really transparent about my prices. They're on my website. They're really easy for anyone to go and access because I'm a huge believer on you'll choose to work with me because you like me and you like the results that we get and we're easy to work with. You won't choose to work with me because I'm cheap or because I'm expensive, but you'll choose to work with me because of me. Like I am the USP, which makes me sound really big-headed, but
no, you are. People buy you before they buy whatever you're selling, and that is so important.
Yeah, 100%. And they buy us because it's easy for us to get in touch with them, for them to get in touch with them. We do all of our business via WhatsApp. You know, when WhatsApp went down, it was great because I was just like, I could have a day off. This is amazing. But then the next day, when WhatsApp came back up and I had like hundreds of messages coming in, I was like, oh, for God's sake.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And it's easy for them to get in touch with us. So they're taking clinical photos with their iPhone. So they go, I'll just send it to Hazel for the social media, or they're recording a reel on the phone. Oh, I'll just send it to Hazel. It's so simple. And I hear of people or other dentists saying, oh, please tell me don't use Google Drive. I was like, no. Oh, please tell me don't use Dropbox. I can't stand it. I'm like, no, just send it to me via WhatsApp. It's fine.
That's very interesting.
Like, oh, it's so easy.
Now, obviously, kind of, are your clients quite savvy when it comes to using their phone, or did you need to kind of train them on the kind of angles to take the pictures in and how to change the resolution on their phone, or kind of how to script a video, or is it just like just go take some pictures?
No, so I have some practices who are really rubbish at sending content, like really, really bad. So I've taken a whole thing now. So I don't know if you saw, but I treated myself to a new car. I got a nice convertible car. So now it's any excuse to go and drive this amazing car. So I went from Manchester to Tunbridge Wells for 5 hours, and I went and I just took pictures of the team. But to that client thought that was the best thing ever, because they've now got 50 stock photos of the practice, of the team that we can use in the social media. But then they also feel nurtured because I took that time out of my day to go and see them. I then tagged on another visit afterwards, so it wasn't like a wasted journey. But and that was really important for me to introduce that, and I've started doing that now with lots of other practices, especially the ones that have been with me since the very beginning that I've never met in person, because we've always like communicated over Zoom. So some of them are really good, some of them are not that great. The biggest thing that I have to tell them to do is to hold the phone that way instead of that way. Or I just say to them, just do it both. Record it both ways.
Yeah. And you mentioned you're going out and doing the visit. Is that you over delivering, or is that like an additional service that you're providing?
Oh no, it's free. I don't charge them anymore.
Oh wow, 5-hour drive. Is that a 10-hour round trip that you did to take some pictures?
Well, it was 5 hours to get there, and that's been my fault because I didn't realise. I thought it was before London, and it's past London. So that's my fault because my geography is really bad. But I was actually in London for 3 days after anyway. So I kind of did that first and then drove into London. I was in Canary Wharf for 3 days with a client. So it was worth it. And I got to drive my amazing new car, so I was happy.
And you deserve it. No, absolutely. You've been working obviously very hard, and you've been kind of taking meetings in person as well as over Zoom. So over the last 12 months, what would you say has been your key challenges? Because you've obviously kind of had your lead generation kind of worked out, and it's worked beautifully for you. What has been the big shifts that you've had to obstacles rather that you've had to overcome along the way?
I would say I need to get out of my own way. So I have like an unofficial business coach, and she said to me, she was like, what's your lead generation strategy for 2022? And I was like, I want to do this lead magnet, and I want to do this, and I want to do this and automate that. And she's like, have you written it? No. Do you not think you should write it? Yeah. Who's writing it? Me. And it was like, and she said, you are like the bottleneck, like you've got all the processes in place, but you just need to kind of just get out your own way. And I'm so busy doing client work that, like, was in the office at 7 a.m. this morning, and I worked from 7 a.m. till 2:30, dived home to get the kids from school, and then sat and then worked from 8:30. It's now 9 o'clock. And it'll be the same again tomorrow. And it's like, but I'm so busy doing day-to-day client work that I don't have time to sit and work on my actual business. And that's why it's took me so long to get a website. That's why my socials are atrocious, because I don't have time to do it.
Well, someone actually said something very interesting the other day. It's the cobbler's children that have the worst shoes.
Yeah.
So you're doing a great job cobbling social media stories for your clients, but you forget your own times.
I outsourced it for a time, and that's where all the content is. And I've like literally, since she left and we kind of parted ways, I think I posted like 3 posts on my own social media. And it's embarrassing. Like, people say to me, well, how have you only got 200 followers on Instagram? And my kind of quick answer is, because I'm too busy making sure my clients are smashing it and to smash it myself.
Yes, absolutely.
So they're all right with that, but that's not going to last forever. I do need to up my game when it comes to my own socials.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of kind of delivering results, because often we talk about numbers and ROI and sales and whatnot. How do your clients measure you for kind of delivering to their expectations, and how do you set the right expectations? Because obviously organic marketing is not necessarily there to drive tons and tons of sales, such as running, thousands of pounds and dollars in advertising would be.
Mm-hmm. I think it's about setting clear expectations. And I say this to my clients all the time. Social media cannot be, or organic social media cannot be your number one marketing strategy. You have to have lots of other elements and channels as well. This is just one small part. To be honest, I have one client who wanted me to send him a report every month, and every report, everything was green. And I think I sent it to him 3 times, and he was like, you don't need to send it me anymore. And everybody else, and I think this kind of comes back to why they buy from me, is because everybody else is just like, do you know what? She knows what she's doing. She's said she's going to do what she says she's going to do. The numbers are going up. The followers are going up. We're getting messages. That's fine. But we do use a scheduler. So if anybody wanted a report, we can just pull one. It's not a problem. And I don't know who that is, but nice to see you. Bye. And if anyone wants a report, we can pull one. That's fine. But generally they don't. But it is all about setting client expectations. And I think that's one of the reasons why we don't do paid ads, because it is really, hats off to those of you that can do paid ads.
It's ruthless.
Successfully. It really is. I will run, like, I'm going to do an ad for a client, but I will say to them, look, I am not an expert, and I won't charge them for it. I'll just do it. And obviously they'll pay the ad fees. And again, it comes back to over delivering. But then I will say to them, this is not like a Facebook ad campaign where you've got split test A and B and this ad set and that ad set. It'll be one ad with a very specific targeted audience with a very small budget, because it's for a very specific thing. So yeah.
That's again, it's the myth busting, which is why I wanted you to bring you on for the second time. Because here's the thing: people go around on Facebook groups and they read stuff and they take it as gospel, when in reality there's so many different ways that you can start a business that you enjoy. That doesn't mean you need to be on business Facebook ads manager all day long trying to make e-com sales work or trying to bring in money. I actually met someone a couple of months ago, and they had a brilliant agency, and all that they did was they created PowerPoint presentations for directors, CEOs, people on the C-suite, for when they were presenting in front of their employees, might be 500 people, 1,000 people, etc. That was their core service. And the brilliant thing about that was, I asked him, how did you kind of come across this? And he used to work for one of these really large multinational food companies that kind of sells Ferrero Rocher and all of that.
Yeah.
So he was the internal guy who was putting the presentations for these people. That was his job. And he thought, well, if I'm doing it for these guys here, surely there's other organizations that have busy execs that need smashing presentations that need to be put together.
That's it. It's just, I shared my story in this other networking group that I'm in, and people were like, how did you get into dentistry? And I'm like, it just so happens that I worked in corporate in dentistry. So I had a network because I'm friendly. And I think at the time, I didn't realize I was building a network when I was sending friend requests. I was just being friendly. Yeah. And then when the time came that I needed to leverage it, it was there. It was just ready made. So I think I kind of always knew I was going to start a business subconsciously, but I didn't consciously go out to say, right, I'm going to build a network of dentists. It just happened. And it's been a roller coaster. We're not done. Yeah. So my target for 2022 is to have a client in every major city in the UK.
That would be awesome. And have you set yourself a revenue goal yet for the end of next year?
For the end of next year?
Or maybe the next 6 months, whatever is easier.
Well, I want to buy a house, so I don't want to buy a house.
In London?
I'd moved to Canary Wharf, though. I quite liked Canary Wharf when I was there. I didn't like Kensington. Kensington was too busy.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. Now, Hazel, you've been so generous with your time, and it's been an absolute blast getting you back on, and I'm sure we'll have a couple of more sessions in the near future. So for now, final question for you is, if somebody's watching this and, they're feeling inspired, what's the best advice you can give them from the journey that you've been on over the last 12 months?
Niche, definitely niche down, and you can't be too niche either. Like, I think if it's that age old kind of saying, if you market to everybody, you end up marketing to nobody because you're just so bland that you don't really speak to anybody. So definitely niche down and build your network, because if you're friendly and you're nice and people, you give more than what you take, then they will return that with referrals and things like that.
Awesome. And that's a great piece of advice. And this is something that I feel like I have to repeat every single day, but it's been great bringing someone on who's actually living it as well. On that note, Hazel Woodward, thank you so much for your time.
No problems. If anyone wants to tag me in the comments, if you've got any questions, then I'll more than happily pop back periodically and answer them.
Absolutely. And we're going to be doing more of these. So keep an eye out and stay tuned for more great episodes. But till next time, take care.
See you later.